Want to just talk about the captain for a minute, and I want to talk about Salah, Beth. Starting off with the captain, you said before about what it means and what it meant, and where this is. I think the extent to which, starting off before, Grace talked about the manager and how he has or hasn't engaged with the crowd as much as his predecessor. I think he's not wanted to be like his predecessor. I think he's been conscious of that. I think maybe we'll see more of him feeling as though he can do that. But I feel as though what happened there, it's created just a little bit of a vacuum, which, in fact, it hasn't created a vacuum, because I think from the get-go, I think Van Dijk has wanted to fill that. I think you often see he's the last off the pitch. You often see him going up to the cop end himself. I feel as though he's all in at this point, Van Dijk. In a way, I feel as though Anfield is his. In a way, I don't think it's been anyone's since maybe Gerrard.
Yeah, I remember when sort of Van Dijk used to wear the armband sometimes when Jordan Henderson and James Milner were still at the club, and I actually used to feel that he wasn't a great captain, because he was a very different kind of captain in terms of, Henderson, speaking about players being vocal, Henderson was as vocal as you could get on a football pitch, really, and James Milner was as well. And I used to think that you lost that a little bit when Virgil was captain, but I would say this season I think he has absolutely come into his own as captain. And there were two examples yesterday in the mix zone that I just thought just epitomised who he is off the pitch as much as he is on it. And he just stopped to speak to reporters, which he does very generously every week. He's under no obligation to do. And he said, "Oh, excuse me, I've just got to say hi to someone." And Sean Cox was just coming through with his family, and he made a point of going over and saying hi, and he said, I'll be through in a minute. And it was a very, sometimes things you almost think of not for the cameras, that sounds awful, but it was a very genuine interaction.
A personal moment.
And, he came back and he was obviously asked about his contract, and obviously it looks like that is all heading in the right direction. But the first thing that he wanted to point out was the next few days should be about Hillsborough, and he did that completely unprompted. And again, it's exactly what you want as an ambassador for your club. And I just thought those two little moments just sort of sum up the man as much as the footballer. And I asked him, actually, because his celebration, as I said earlier on yesterday, was quite un-Virgil-like in terms of it was just this real moment of emotional release. And I asked him sort of, do moments like that make you want to play for Liverpool more, and make you want to stay here, and sort of what does the club mean to you? And I'll just read you a little bit of what he said, because I just thought it was a really nice answer. He said, "I joined the club in 2017 for many reasons like how much it means to all the Scousers, to all the fans around the whole world to be connected to Liverpool. Being successful with Liverpool, the culture of the club, everything that embodies Liverpool is just a part of me. That's why I'm always proud when I wear the shirt. I go out there and try to be the best version of myself in terms of the footballer player that I am." And I just think that sort of sums him up. And
love him.
Yeah. Yesterday, I just thought it was on and off the pitch, just sort of embodied why he's been such an asset for Liverpool this season. And listen, I'm sure Mo Salah will probably get all of the individual accolades in terms of the Football Writers Awards and everything like that, and deservedly so, because he's been tremendous and he's been the decisive one in terms of the goals. But Van Dijk has been close to his best level this season. He might have had a little dip the last few weeks, but been so impressive, and I've been so impressed with, as you say, the way he's almost sort of filled that void a little bit left by Jurgen. And I think it shows in the way the manager speaks about him. He speaks about all of his players, positively, but I think when he speaks about Virgil, there's just that something extra there. It's almost like this real respect and appreciation, almost as a friend as much as a player. And I think he acknowledges that he's been really helpful in that transition as well. So yeah, I was delighted for him to get that moment yesterday.
It was nice that he had that moment as well, because it feels like the season hasn't really had a moment like that, short of maybe the Núñez winner at Brentford. I don't think there's been anything sort of on the level of, I think the season we won it, there's the Salah goal against Manchester United, which was where everyone was just go, wow. You think of the season before, when there was the sort of the last minute own goal against Spurs, and then a week later there was the Southampton Salah winner, for example. They were moments that you look back on and they sort of define the season. I don't think this is going to quite be at that level, just because the circumstances are not quite the same, but it was nevertheless a late winner that reduced the number of points we need quite significantly, and everyone's able to walk out the ground buzzing, and everyone's like, wow, that was great. And it's nice that he got the opportunity to do that, because I think he's been really deserving of it. It's interesting looking around, like someone is going to probably score a goal that wins Liverpool the league, and it would be nice if it was him, wouldn't it? There's some players it would obviously be nice whoever it is, and it's fine. But there's some that it would sort of be a bit like, that would be better. Like him and Salah, for example, would be the two that you're sort of looking at and going, well, that'd be, you get the new contract, you crown it.
Gravenberch hasn't scored yet this season.
No, he hasn't, has he? Last goal he scored was Fulham. Did he score Fulham last season? Yeah. It would help if we put the really tall man in the middle at corners. He stays back.
I know, yes. I think it's because of the recovery pace, but yes.
There was also one yesterday where it went to the edge of the box and he won a header, and it's like, that also makes sense.
Yeah.
It's as if they do think about these things. you think you're seeing Shimmikas on the 6-yard box thinking, what's he doing there? And then you're seeing Gravenberch at the edge of the box and the ball goes cleared and you're like, this. They're not idiots. Do you know what they're doing, these people?
They're not idiots. Grace, with the captain, just to sort of sum up on it, he has been remarkably special, and so that he did get that moment. But as I say, I thought it was as much the fact that you got to see the outpouring. I genuinely thought he just wants to get in the crowd.
Yeah, the level of emotion, the way he kisses the badge, all of the talk about the contract situation in the week, and people were saying it was going to get announced the same day as Salah, but I'm glad Salah got his day. That was quite nice.
It would have been cool if he'd only got an hour, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I'd like Van Dijk to have his own day. Maybe a week. I'd take a week for Virg. I think he's worth that. Just the outpouring of emotion, and to be there yesterday when he scored that goal was excellent, and I do hope he commits his future to the club, because I actually think he just embodies what Liverpool Football Club is. And like those moments that you mentioned yesterday, Beth, about how he was in the mix zone is just so nice to hear, because you see how cool and calm he is. And I've been to interview him before and sat there and thought, like, oh, you can really feel his presence when he walks into a room, and it's slightly daunting. But to know that he's human like the rest of us, and he's got these emotions, and he clearly cares about the club so much, is just exactly what you want from a captain. And yesterday was just the epitome of what he's capable of.